Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today I've got an absolute classic kit review for you. What we've got here is the 1/48 scale Hasegawa F-4J. Now you might be thinking it's just a Hasegawa kit, Phil. I've seen it, it's been reboxed a million times. True, and everything, and there's nothing much special to it. I'll tell you the reason why this kit is so special to me. This kit solely is the reason I am here in front of you today. So it basically took me from being just a normal modeler like you guys, or 99% of you, obviously into professional, doing commission works, and then obviously with Flory Models that came along, the Flory Models washes, the Flory Models sanders, the Flory Models pigments, all the videos that we do, all the bits and pieces, and then obviously even through to PM models is because of this kit. So yes, it has got a lot to answer for. So the reason this kit is so special to me is because it gave me that chance to take this from a hobby, which to be honest I absolutely loved. Probably like most of us, I did it as a kid, got involved with it with the parents, things like that, and then built them up just generally chucking them together. In sort of, you know, sort of 10 to sort of, I don't know, 16 years old, took it a little bit more seriously, tried to do various things, still hand painting, still slapping it together at the end of the day. Then unfortunately, like a lot of us, relationships got in the way, girls came along, motorbikes, things like that, all the things, and a career. So I walked away from the hobby and then obviously came back to it in my late 20s after a different tale, which obviously a lot of you know about. So obviously came back into this. Now the reason this kit I love and I'm so fond of is two reasons. One, this was the first kit that I actually built with recessed panel lines, which wasn't like Esky and things like that back in the day. This had a proper nice panel linings. The details were really nice. It was really nice and crisp. It had that newer type of plastic, the hard sort of clinky type plastic and things like that. And that sort of blew me away with this particular kit. But the great thing about this kit and how I'm here in front of you today is because I put one of these up on eBay. Now eBay started in, what was it, 2000 odd, and all the rest of it. And with skin, had not a penny to my name, and to pay for my next build I needed to sell the model I just made. So I literally put it up on eBay, and I put it up in, I think it was like aircraft parts and things like that, the usual area I used to put them in, and I put them down in there, and I just put simply built model of the 1/48 scale Phantom, and that was literally it. Put up a couple of photos of it and everything like that and sold it, went away, and it paid for my next kit. So I bought another Phantom, to be honest. All right, and then I put it up after I'd finished with it, and that sold. And I thought, oh, well, there might be something into this at the end of the day. So what I did another one. I did loads of photos for it, like it was a giant advert, if you like. And I put it up on eBay, and instead of just putting it up for sale, I put it up for the maximum time it could be up there, which in those days was all a little bit different to how it is now. And it was up there for 2 weeks, and it was like an advert. And I said at the bottom, contact me if you're interested in one, and I can do one for you, just of this particular kit. And then consequently, I got a couple of people message me and said, could you do us this, and this? I said, yeah, I can do it for this price. And that's how it actually started. And long story short, I got commission works from it. I got a very large commission came into it. I got some other work coming in as bits and pieces and all the rest of it. And luckily, I managed to turn my hobby into a little tiny cottage industry, and it's very, very small. I was building literally one model every 2 weeks, and that's how it was working. And then literally I managed to sort of ramp it up and got doing it. It became my job and everything else, and I was knocking out one model a week, and then we were doing 3 models a week at one point and things like that. And that's literally how it evolved. Also because of this particular kit as well, is that the wash, I needed a way of doing panel line washes, and for years and years and years I've really struggled with panel line washes, oil washes particularly. I made sludge washes, I used to use chalks, and oh, it was just a mess. Anyway, they always went wrong because of this particular kit, because everyone seemed to like the high-vis marking. So obviously we've got the gold grey over the white. Obviously that white, if it stains, it's really noticeable, and in those days my weathering was limited to a simple oil wash for the undercarriage and for the wheel wells, and then obviously we used to get a little bit of panel line washing as well, which I used to use a little bit of, I don't know, sepia oils like it was back in the day, and give it a rub. But on the white, every now and again a oil would stick and I couldn't get it off. It would bite. It would stain the white finish of it. So again, I used to have to go back and we used to have to respray it. And again, if I was using custom markings and things like that, then obviously that would be a bit of a problem. So I'd have to get more markings in for it, so forth and so on. So that's actually how the wash came about. I needed a wash for my commission work that could literally just slap it on, let it dry, wipe it off, and have 100% guaranteed results with it. That's where the Flooring Models wash came from. Never intended to sell a single bottle of it. It was only because then the internet started to come along and ramp up in those days, and then obviously YouTube came along and all these different bits and pieces, that actually it turned into a little bit of a thing of people asking, can you make me a bottle of wash? And I used to say, send us a jar and I'll fill it up for you. And that's actually how it started. And now we do 12 to 15,000 bottles of wash a year. That's how that one's changed over for it. And again, things like sanders. I needed a particular type of sander. Couldn't find one. Nail files just don't work. So literally ended up with custom made sanders used to do, and all of those things. Same goes with the pigments and everything else. Also, it's not just me. With the device or sort of, you know, this kit coming along, I think the aftermarket world really electrified. And if you go back through it, you can pretty much get every single part of this kit. And Hasegawa, I think, were the thing where a lot of companies jumped on, because straight out of the box, you got a really nice kit. But because of the way that the kits are designed, the way they go together, actually enabled aftermarket stuff to come along. So again, the resin guys, because there was no 3D printed back then, would jump in. So we ended up with cockpits, seats, wheel wells, electronic bays, hydraulic bays, things like that, afterburner cans, aftermarket gear, wheel wells. As I said, literally everything, any part of this kit now is available as an aftermarket. Unfortunately, now some of them have gone by the way, because again, they've been replaced now by different things. There's newer kits come along and everything else. But it was kits like these, I think, that were the driving force into this one. And again, we've spoken about how really you've got this thing about Hasegawa. Nowadays, and I agree, gets a bit of a bad rap because, let's face it, aftermarket decals then going into these and then reboxing them, and then the price keeps going up, is a little bit of a thing. But obviously I'm just really talking about the PT6 kit, which this particular one was. So it first launched in 1982. Can you imagine getting a kit of this quality in 1982? I would have been absolutely blown away. I didn't get to see this kit until the late 90s, around about 2000 time. It might have been about 98 to 2000 that I actually first got my hands on one of these kit, and was completely blown away, because before that I used to build a lot of the Esky one, which you can still do today because the Tallery still do it. Because that's the old Esky kit. But that was my Phantom of choice to go to. And again, I am a complete Phantom fanboy. I know everyone thinks I love Tomcats. My first love is obviously to this aircraft. And hopefully you can understand now why I've got such an affiliation with this particular kit and this particular aircraft, because I've been truly, truly blessed. And I'm one of these people, I never take it for a second for granted, that I do my hobby every single day because of this kit, because it enabled me to actually turn it into a little bit of a business, actually to turn a profit, to actually pay for me, and then obviously my family, my children, the pets, the home, the mortgage, and all the bits and pieces, purely because I was working on this particular kit. And then I spread my wings and we did other things. I did F-18 Hornets, a lot of you know about. I did their A4s, but Hasegawa kits in this particular genre were literally a legendary. But this one first came along in the Jolly Rogers marking. I've got it up in front of me on Scalemates, and again in 1982. But it doesn't just stop with this actual kit, because it actually evolved. So this particular kit, obviously with the shorter nose, with this one on here with the J, obviously it came with the S as well. And then we saw a fleet of other ones coming along right off the back of this particular one. So obviously we saw the land-based ones, if you like, with the E and the F. So the F being the German one, the E obviously being there. We obviously saw the G as well. So we saw this sort of, you know, in the hill scheme as well, striking box art and all the rest of it for the G, for the F-4J, for the Wild Weasel family. And then we were lucky enough as well to see the actual RAF version. So we had the FGR 1 and 2, and then obviously with the sort of all cock and brown special boxing, those ones have metal undercarriage in there as well, and all these other goodies added into the box. And obviously we got the ones then with the Spey engines, which we're still waiting to see from manufacturers to this day. If you still want a Spey engine Phantom, Hasegawa kits are still the one to go. And again, we've seen, as we spoke about, hundreds of different reboxes of this particular kit coming through, all with new decals in one family or other. One little caveat I will say to this though, the BN version has got raised panel lines. All the other kits are beautiful and they've got recessed panel lines, but the B and the N has got raised panel lines, which was always just a little bit annoying to have that one, because in those days when I was doing commission works, anybody who wanted a B and an N, I used to then obviously then revert back to doing the old Esky kit, because obviously that's recessed on that one, even though it's no way as nice as one of these. But that's how I got into this particular kit. This is the reason whilst I sit here in front of you, is purely because of this. And I really do believe to this day, if it wasn't for this particular kit, me popping it up on eBay, people being obviously Phantom fans and things like that and wanting it, I literally wouldn't be sat here in front of you today. So really that's why I've got a very, very strong feelings for this kit. I've got a ton of aftermarket for this as well, but I'm not going to go through and show you all of those ones because literally you can get anything. I've just got some seats here, some other little bits and pieces that I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to be doing this as part of a live build in a few weeks' time at the end of November for our turkey shoot. So I'm going to build this live. My record for building one of these, so back in the commission days, because I had one go wrong on me, I actually put one of these together, painted, weathered and all the rest of it, and off to the customer in 22 hours. That's how quick it goes together. And again, that's testimony to the quality of the kit, that you can get it to go together and you can make your way through with this one with no problems. If you're not going to be opening it up aftermarket and all the rest of it, straight out of it, what we call a curbside model, it's absolutely a great one for that. I will say though, before we get into the review, she is showing her age now. Unfortunately now she is a little bit on the older side. Obviously it's been superseded. I'm quite a fan of the Academy one. That's a lovely kit as well. But obviously now we've got Zucamori kits as well, and those are absolutely beautiful. And other Phantom ones coming down the line as well in 1/48 scale, which are truly, you know, knock this one off the top tier very easy. But from a nostalgia point of view, and if you want a curbside Phantom, obviously grab yourself the PT6 kit. That's how well I know it. I know the Hornet because that's P26. And again, they built a lot of Hornets over the time and stuff like that. But again, it's something literally about this one. There you go. That's my nostalgia bit through. So let's have a look in what we get in. Okay, so very, very nice box art. So this is Randy Cunningham. Shooting down a MiG, obviously over Vietnam. This is Showtime 100, a very famous aircraft, apart from this is wrong, because apparently this was slightly after and all the rest of it. But again, we won't go into the what's wrong with the kit. We're going to show you literally what's right with it. And a couple of little things hopefully will help it to go together a little bit better. So again, they're reboxings. They tend to do this type of thing with them. The British ones, you have pictures of the real model on them. But again, really nice box art as well, something really nice, obviously showing the MiG going vertical, the Phantom here in full afterburner and all the rest of it as it goes through. But again, really, really nice down in there. So again, this is the Showtime 100 boxing. All the other boxings, basically it's the same kit inside. All right, so running around on the box so you can see PT6. Few little bits down in here. So this has got the one-piece canopy, and it's obviously got the broken down two-part canopy into it as well. All right, and there's obviously a little bit of it done down in there. So inside, as I said, it's not going to take long to go through all this because, to be honest, there's not a ton of stuff in here. We do get two canopies. So you've got one that's broken obviously into the four parts. So you've got the front, the pilot's one, the midsection, and then obviously the Rio down in here at the back, and a few other things. Or we've got it in a one piece. So again, really nice option. The classic kit itself. Usual, it's in one bag, even to this day, and nothing has changed, and the decals haven't changed either. So again, what we'll do, we'll have a look down those in a moment. So as for the instructions, again, truly classic instructions. Nothing has changed with this kit. All right, so it's Hasegawa's old classic pull-out style. And again, you'll see how nice and quick this can actually go together. So again, a couple of nice touches for this kit that blew me away back in the time. You know, over sort of, you know, we're coming up for this kit is, what now, almost 40 years old? It's ridiculous now. Well, it is 40 years old now. But again, pilot figures, really nice, very nice and detailed. The seat actually isn't that bad, all right? I know there is aftermarket, and I am going to do aftermarket ones for mine, but actually it's not bad. As with the cockpit, I will say Phantoms are notoriously difficult to see inside the cockpit. The shoulders, if you like, around the cockpit area encroach over it, so you can't look down. It's not like looking into an F-15 or an F-16. So honestly, the cockpit, I wouldn't go massively mad about. I am going to show you, because I did a video some 20 years ago now of actually doing one of these. If you go on YouTube, you can find it right now. But there's the one that I actually show about how to weather up and paint a cockpit. So I'm going to redo this for you in a couple of weeks' time and say it all will be live, and you can see that down in there. So anyway, cockpit all going down into this one. There is different versions, and one of the things is, and I will show you as well, the slime lines have got to come off. all right, because obviously that's for later versions of the Phantom, and as I say, it's like a common fuselage half. So there is a little bit of surgery to do on this particular kit. The intakes, again, this is one of these areas where there's a little thing in here, and I'll show you how to get rid of it when we get to it, all right? But there's a little technique for making them perfectly. They're not full length intakes or anything else like that, so again, FOD covers are quite nice because it hides it. You can go aftermarket and you can get full length intakes if you wanted to do this kit down in there. And again, a couple of other ones here, because we've got the radar warning receivers that sit on the cheeks, if you like, of the intakes. That's only for different versions of this one, because obviously this is a bicentennial markings down in here. The doors underneath, the auxiliary intake doors, obviously they are moulded permanently open, but there's no detail inside those like you'll find with other kits, all right? But generally with the fuselage together, the wings literally go on top and then you just bolt it in, you just clamp it in. Nose goes on the front. Again, there's a little trick to get that nice and seamless, as is this bit at the back, just to make sure it all lines up well. The cans are one piece, straightforward, just drop in straight at the back, that's it. Again, these strengthening triangle plates, which are on top of the actual tail planes as well, need to be removed, all right? Other versions have them, these ones don't. And again, because it's quite modular, there's a different tail tip to go on here. Underneath has got the gear and the wheel wells, and all the rest of it is really nice as well. Also down in here you've got these two little scoops. These are the electronic bay cooling scoops, which will obviously keep all the electronics nice and cool when the aircraft's flying as well. So again, you just want to make sure those are nicely sanded in and you'll be absolutely fine. Lumps and bumps and all the bits going underneath, as well as obviously you've got the bridle, because obviously there's no strut on the nose to hook up to a catapult system or anything else like that. This has got the old bridle way with the hook, so you're going to be putting in all of those. Canopies we spoke about before, you could do one piece or two piece, and again various things like that down in there. And then literally, this is how quick it is, then you've got it. So you've got the actual long range ferry tanks, and obviously the centre line tank. You've got a couple of sidewinders that are going to go out on the actual outside down in there, and you've got 4 Sparrows, all right? And again, obviously that's all you're going to get from weapons loadout, although if you got the Hasegawa weapons set, which they used to do, that was great, because that's what I used to use a lot. And obviously you've got a little bit of a thing down in here for its weapons loadout carries. Markings wise, again, really nice. Showtime 100, again, there's a little bit of a problem with like the red eye on the bird on the tail, and obviously the kill marking, because it predates the actual this particular aircraft. But there we go. The only thing with Phantoms, as we all know about, is stencil data. There's a lot of it, all right? There is quite a bit on this particular one, but luckily, as I say, it's one of those, you just work your way through it. It's part of building a Phantom. If you're building a Phantom, you'll want all of this on. The other one as well, which are really nice colourful markings down in here, if you want to do it in the bicentennial scheme. And again, it really is very, very nice. And the decals are good quality decals. I've never had a problem with Hasegawa decals. And as you can see, these are all down in here as well. So if you wanted to do that one, you could. But that is literally it. There's not tons of stuff, there's not tons of plastic. It is actually why I love this kit. It's nice and straightforward. It's, to be honest, why it made a fantastic kit for doing commission work for and doing builds, because it doesn't take a ton of time to get it together. You know, some kits you're looking at 40, 60, 70 hours to get it done. This one here, as I said, you can literally get it built in an afternoon and then it's ready for paint the next day. Simple as that, and that's what I love about it. Okay, so they've got a little bit down in here, so you've got a one-piece canopy or not, but as you say, most of us will have it with the canopy up, because let's face it, Phantoms do look really nice like it. Here's your decals for it. Again, very, very nice indeed. So again, take your options as to this one. Again, there is different timelines down in here, so obviously some of them have actually got the tails in here with the plane in, some don't, and again, the bird on the back apparently has a red eye, which is easy to touch in as well, if I can remember this all correctly, because I might be out of date with all of this. But again, you have got options. The nice one down in here is for the Marines, for the bicentennial one. It really is a beautiful, colourful jet. It really is nice. But these decals, as you can probably see, even though they are, you know, even now, Christ, when did this kit come out? I don't even know when this one actually first surfaced. Hold on, let me have a quick look. This kit first came along, it looks like, in 1989. And again, standing up to the test of time. You know, these decals here are technically 33 years old from the design, but look how nice they are. They haven't been updone or redone or anything else. This is just as the originals are, just obviously freshly printed. So again, absolutely epic. Okay, so as always, Hasegawa, you're greeted with one bag. So we'll just slice our way in here. And we'll just come along. So, fuselage halves. Again, what was mega about this kit was literally because it's beautifully, really finely engraved, and it's got riveting detail and various bits and pieces. The clam area at the back is gorgeously done. Again, when you compare it to what's available today, it is very, very nice indeed. All right. So what we were talking about is these. So you've got them down in here. You've got a slime line here. You've got one up here, and there's another one on the tail. They need to be sanded out. It's literally nice. It's on flat surfaces. It's a 2-second job. Just sand it out. They're completely raised, so you can just pop them out. There's a slight little bit of raise to them, and you can get rid of them just like that. All right. And again, very, very nice. As I say, it's 2.5 fuselage. And again, at the time, I used to moan about this kit because the thing is, because it's fuselage, you've got a nice big seam line down the back here and all the rest of it. And I never like rescribing and all these things. But again, it's simplicity to build. It's no hassle. It's straightforward. It's 2 halves going together. One wing section going up from underneath. Again, down the back here, the clamshells, as I call it, down in here for the actual engine with the heat shrouds. Really very, very nice. And again, fully rivety detailed in these. You can probably see it there. Looks very, very nice indeed. The nose section is 2 halves going together. We've got the bit up the tail, nose door. This is down at the back for the Rio with his bits down in there. And again, we've got the fuses and all the bits and pieces. These here radar warning receivers that are going to go onto the intakes. Again, these are the short ones. You get the long ones on the S, I think it is. Again, internally, really nothing in here. A little bit down in here, but that's all you're going to get. But internally, there is absolutely nothing. All right, so again, very, very nice indeed. Now, the wing section is this. So again, huge, big, one-piece wings down in here. So yes, we get no wing fold like new ones have, and all the niceties that go all the way through. But actually, there's something very, very nice about this one. So again, being a J, it's got the slightly stepped up over the wing areas down in here. It's got the bulges in here, things like that. So again, very, very nice indeed. But generally, when you look up nice and close in here, you can see the detail. And that's why we like this. This is because it takes a panel line wash really nicely, especially if it's a nice clean jet and not over weathered. So like the Bicentennial one's great for this thing. You can do it really nice. These are these blow-in doors, and there's nothing on the inside of them, you know, or anything else like that. So again, it's one of those where obviously later kits have got all the detail down on the inside. The wheel wells themselves, as you can see, raised rivets, really nice as well. A little bit of wiring, again, speed brake areas, things like that. Not too bad at all. All right. So again, generally, it's one of these things. Again, there's no frills or anything else like that. Again, over here on these wings, no separate flaps or slats, although there was aftermarket ones all available if you did want to do this. All right, but actually it's just straightforward, nice simplicity out of the box. On the underside, down in here, you've got the toothed areas down in here, all looking very nice. It's actually very, very nice to do this kit. Okay, so then we've got some of these bits out here. Cockpit area, so we speak about at the moment, intakes. So, and actually this is really nice because it's showing it very well. So as you see, nice bits and pieces on here. Let's talk about these intakes first. So a lot of people have trouble, they've always had trouble with these intakes. They're nice, they've got great detail. You've got these strengthening plates on them and things like that, which is very nice. This little patch is a little bit raised, things like that. Can you see, or hopefully you can see, down in the back here, just down in here, there's a little line. You see that little line just down in here? That is because there's a tab, there's a square box on the back of this. You can just about see this line here. If we go center screen, you can see that line. That is the reason why your intakes don't fit your model. You need to square this off totally, because that box, you can see just that little line just down there, that's the area, so you need to sand that off. It's a tooling error. So if you sand that off, it will fit flush. Without it, you'll get a seam line running down here. And no matter amount of glue and pushing, you won't get rid of it, because that guy down there needs to go. And that's exactly what that is. And the funny thing is, it's on the other side, but it's never as pronounced. You'll get another one just down in here. And again, when we do the full build in a couple of weeks as a live build, it'll be free to watch. I'll show you exactly how to get rid of it. But they're the two reasons why these intakes never fitted the kit particularly nicely, and it's something as simple as that. All right. Again, whilst we're here, we've got the instrument panel, doesn't look too bad at all. We've got the Rio's one down in here, and again, a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, you can hand paint all of these in, dry brush them up. They look really very, very nice, and that's what I'm going to do with mine. Of course, you could stick a Quinta set in or a colour photo etch set if you didn't want to sound it off and go, but honestly, for what you'll see in there, it's not really worth it. All right, as we move up, these crew figures, again, for the time and the age of these things, I think they're not bad at all. They've stood up to the test of time very, very nicely. And again, the cockpit, there's not a ton of stuff down in here, but as you can see, you've actually got very nice raised details. So what I'm going to be doing is going to be painting all this up black. Then we're going to come in with a very mild wash, a little bit of dust wash probably, let it go in all the panel recesses, wipe it all away, then we'll pick out all the switches. That's literally all it needs. The seats are a little bit of a problem because you can probably see on here we have texture in the actual top boxes around the head area, things like that, but really they're not that nice, and I am probably going to pop in a set of aftermarket ones. If you wanted to, these are literally beautiful. I've got everybody's down in here. I've got Aries, I've obviously got the Quick Boost ones, I've even got some Linden ones down in here and all the rest of it, but these ones have actually got the harnesses molded into them, which makes these really nice. But if you did fancy a quick upgrade, I highly recommend these. So the Quick Boost 48004s, they're just straightforward, really very nice. All right. And again, down in here, you obviously got the seat bits if you're going to replace them, but if you're not, just put some harnesses on and they're good to go. Wheel well, again, you've got a little bit of plumbing, hosing, wires, various things down in there, just like that. The intakes we spoke about, really, they are just going to stop here. This is going to be a wall here. You're not going to see it. And again, if you're not worried about it, that's fine. But again, you have got a couple of little ejector pins, but that's really straightforward. Just going to come in and sand these off and you'll be good to go. And again, we've got the situation where we've got down in here, we've got the actual, there we go, the actual barge doors, which actually swing slightly open. It slows the airflow down into the intakes. Really very nice recessed detail all over these ones as well. So again, what's not to love about it? Okay, so we've got weapons and things. Don't hold your breath, it's not too much to it, but literally we've got fuel tanks, which are just two halves going together. It's all molded in one. There is no sway braces or anything on them or anything else like that. All right. But again, we do get them though for up onto the actual pylons and things, the way they're actually going to fit in. So you have got separate pylons here. So you've got a separate one for underneath. So you've got a pylon down in here, but obviously it's molded into the tank. Sorry, it's this molded into the tank. But if you did want them separate, these are the outer ones. You haven't got to cut them off of the tank. They are separate and they are one piece. So again, that's how you'll do it, all right? There is other versions for them down in here, okay? So you've got both of those. Sparrow missiles, again, not a ton of detail on them, but, you know, they're adequate, they're going to work. Gear, obviously hubs and wheels, things like that. They are literally just two. There is no weight on wheels, so you are going to have to attack it with a sounding stick. The nozzles, obviously spoken about. There's no internal detail onto these, as you can see. So there's no internals, but it's external. And again, it depends on how far you wanted to go with it. There are some very, very nice ones and very nice expensive ones as well, with the veining and all the detail inside the nozzle. But if you're just going to do it from the outside, then actually that's absolutely fine. It's not too bad at all. All right, so there's that one. We've also got, again, different pylons because it's different things down in here and all the rest of it. So again, this is for, I think, the Air Force One. It's got a slightly different bottom on it. It's got down in here and things, so it's slightly different. We've also got the longer, which are the electronic listening devices, if you like, for the early warning system. All right, so that's the sensors down in there as well. So there is those. I know there's a little bit of an issue with this because of it, but honestly, that's getting picky. Sidewinders, they're one piece. There's no detail on them at all. Again, it's not looking good this now, but anyway, it's all right. It's fine. Again, so not too bad. Nice little touches these. So this is the actual rear stabs. And again, you're going to take out this triangle here. It's raised, so you just do it flush and then rescribe. It's not a problem with it. There's not on the underside. It's just on the top. Again, very nice indeed. It's for later ones that had all things like that. Last up, obviously down in here, we've got the doors and the bits and pieces. So obviously we've got main gear doors, speed brakes, we've got front doors on here as well, internals to them as well. And then down in here, unfortunately, because of the age of the kit, you have got some ejector pins, but to be honest, they're easy because they're just straightforward sand out and things like that. All right, so although they are there, it's not a problem. Unfortunately, the little ones on the side doors, which you do see, it has got two, and they're right amongst all the raised details. So what I tend to do is just sand them out and just do recessed details onto it, and away you go. All right, but generally they are just a little bit gnarly to see. Will you see all of these ones? Hardly. Clear parts, last up. To be honest with you, they are beautifully done, crystal clear, no problem at all. Obviously there's no internals into these or anything else like that. What is nice, obviously you can get photo etch and various bits and pieces if you want to put the rear mirrors in and stuff, which obviously they did have, but unfortunately you don't get them in the kit. And then down in here we've got the HUD glass, and obviously the nose wheels, things like that down in there. So yeah, you've got all the bits. And then obviously said before, we've got a one-piece one, so if you just want the one-piece one on, you can, or obviously we've got here with the two. So what you could do if you want to do is use this one temporary as a mask, pop it onto the kit, spray it all, and then obviously detail up and do this one as separate, and then it can be fitted afterwards if you wanted to put it that way. And there you have it. You can probably see now it's not a massively tricky kit to all go together. There's not a ton of things to this. Literally, you've only got about 6 screws, I think. 7 screws you've actually got. So literally, there's not a ton of stuff to this particular aircraft. It goes together well. But really, yes, it's old. Yes, it's been superseded. And I built a bucket load of kits that are far better than this. Did the Zucamori one not so long ago. That's absolutely beautiful kit as well. And again, other ones like the Academy one, don't dismiss that. That's a really nice kit as well. And all the other ones in between. But this particular one is still one of my favourite kits, purely because if it wasn't for this kit, I wouldn't be here now. And again, I think for a kit that's now, you know, basically coming along for sort of 40 years old, it's doing very well.
It's crazy.